let's see what this is. We're going to get this started here. All right. And what it is and what you need to know. And where you're going and where the energy flows. It's pretty relaxed and laid back. You know, it's pretty chill. I think there's a lot of energy that has kind of run its course is what I'm hearing right now. I don't even know what that word means. That's not funny. Are you making fun of me? Yeah, okay. Alright. I had to make sure that they were making fun of me and that wasn't something, because I was like, that doesn't make sense. And they're like, of course it doesn't, because we're making fun of you. And I was like, that's nice of you. Way to be in the fucking Yule Christmas spirit, right? They're always enjoying their time here as we start through this process, so. Okay. All of you have heard about the change, right? Or about the different changes that are to come. So I think that they're gonna go through different phases here. Okay. The Ten of Cups, there's a lot of emotional fulfillment in there, but this is coming through more of peace without glare. Okay? Peace without glare. So what that means is that there's a less defensive state that's going on in the art of the present state, right? So you're not taking things so defensively, you're allowing to be more open as you receive. So also, this is showing me, they're showing me the Queen of Cups energy. So a lot of people, when they're in the Queen of Cups energy, they're in this energy of where you are taking things on as like, what is this showing me? What does this have to do with me? And you're turning it into me. And instead of literally sitting here as everything has to do with you, you're looking at it more objectively with more respectively having an assertion of the sacred divinity of the steps you're taking towards your personal prophecy. All right. And so with that being said, you're in this energy of full steam ahead. The emotion, it's less of the head, more of the notion is what they're saying here. All right. Less of the me. You're more in the observatory state, is going, okay, not happening to me, happening for me, but what does this have to do with me? But I'm not assuming or putting expectation on it, because we just know that something's brewing. Okay? We just know that something's brewing. With all due respect. So you're at the next level yet. So whether they're all showing me, there's going to be so many different scenarios that they're popping into me right now. Okay? When it comes to heavy hitting energy, we're talking a lot more about Libra placements, Gemini placements, Taurus placements. Okay? The heavy signs, everybody is shifting. It doesn't matter where you're at in respectively, but energetically, everybody is shifting from where they were at to where they ought to be. There was a message that came back to me from, I think it was 3 to 4 weeks ago. Somebody commented on it, but it was a video from like maybe 3 to 4 weeks ago, and it was Spirit was the table. Spirit was the support. The cards were you, and the cards were the choices that you were making in every avenue, in every circumstance to play the chessboard, right? Okay? You were minding your own business. You were working on yourself. You were focusing in the direct. And Spirit saying our game right now. They're saying our game. So your game with Spirit, it was about strategy then, right? And you could hear it. And you may not have heard it directly, but you heard it intuitively, which then you acted respectably. Maybe there was a lot of situations that tried to get you to act out of character or act out of circumstantial events. And so therefore they're showing me that you knew the energy that was trying to pull you backwards to be in, but you chose to focus on the narrow mind. Now, most people would say that's the narrow mind, is focusing on you being selfish, But that is a healthy selfishness. And I know that it felt bad, because here's what happens. I'm going to show you how that negative energy shows up in your force respectively, okay? And what I mean by that is when you are working at leveling up, okay? There's always going to be circumstances to try to pull you backwards. As you know, you're energy readers. You read energy intuitively. You have these notions, right, that are a piece and a part of you. And what's happening then at that moment, Okay, you're cutting these people off. You're cutting these people off, right? And sometimes you have to burn that bridge, and it feels good to do that, okay, with all due respect, because you're like, yes, I did the right thing for myself this time, right? Okay. In other circumstances, what will show up in your life energetically to make you think twice is that if you know that spirit is working in your life and they're trying to move you to different heights, you have to cut off people energetically. It is not a personal thing. It is a spiritual thing, respectively. Okay? When that happens, you know that you are moving intuitively in direction. Now, what will happen in that space, energetically speaking, okay, about the ways and the plays and the maids and how that energy shows up in your face and in your head, you're going to feel guilty. You're going to feel shame. You're going to feel sorrow for doing it. Why? Because that's the game. That's how the energy negatively tries to get you to reach out again or retract or clap back, which is respond. Because you've already cut the energy off, right? You've already cut that energy off from your vessel. Now, it doesn't always have to be toxic. You have to understand that. You have to understand and understand it's not always toxicity is what's going on. It's the direction and the leveling and the anointing upon thee that is moving you out of the circumstance. Say thank you. Say thank you. Yeah, it sucks and it hurts, but what happens is then that makes you feel guilty, makes you second guess yourself. Oh, should I cut that person off? And then you go back through the cycle again, because the shame and the guilt of the energy is what gets you to retract back into that reality. That's how the devil energy works. You cut it off. You know you're supposed to cut it off, but then at the same time, okay, the shame and the guilt and the sorrow and da-da-da-da-da come in that time and make you feel bad for cutting that energy off. And it has nothing to do with them, respectively. It really has everything to do with you. And you regret that. But at the same time, that's the level of the frequency of how the devil energy shows up to be the shame upon your mind, to make you feel that way. That's not of God. That's not of source. That's not the energy. The energy is going to feel good about that. But what happens is you feel good about that energy that you cut off, and you start to see the movement move in your life, right? But the shame and the guilt makes you think twice. And then you retract back to that energy because you feel bad. Don't let it play on your mind, okay? Don't let it play on your mind. So they're talking about the energy you've had to learn so in-depthly to see how the energy has worked against thee. Remember, frequency turned to words, left your voice unheard. So therefore, the vibration of the weight of your words has had to change the way you speak. Which then, when you change the way you speak, the way you handle energy changes too, because you are able to read it objectively rather perspectively and putting an emotional attachment to the word. This is why we can interchange the word God, Holy Spirit, Source, Divine, Energy, Life Force Energy, because we understand the energy behind the word, that it means the same thing. And a lot of you had to remove the trauma of the words. How many people always sat here and said, sticks and stones won't break my bones and words will never hurt me, right? How many of you said that, right? Over and over again. Bullshit. The words of the frequency is what partly led to the emotional entrapment of the imprint on the DNA, which entrapped you in your mind and allowed the words to play. Thank you. They said airmail. Okay. So you've had to learn how to use your words. You are energy. You are frequency. You are that to be in the new reality. Okay. Look what's on the bottom of the deck. You can't make this up. Look, the 10 of Cups, okay? And literally, the devil on the bottom. That was you against you in your reality. You had to learn where to take accountability and where to allow then the overburdening of things that were not your accountability to slide amongst the ways. All right? This is all part of the game that you had to play energetically and strategically to learn the pieces of you and parts of your divine prophecy. That is the next chapter to be. You had to really learn, okay, with all due respect. When I say this, I'm asking you to close your eyes and discern through it. And I know that a lot of you will get it right away and are into it. But I want you to know that this comes from a level of consciousness, openness, and energy understanding. Okay? Not all of you were made equal energetically, and there's a reason for that. You had to learn that your energy was different from other people's. Okay? But yet we are all intertwined in one. And that takes a huge humbling process to go through and undo the ego and the imprints, to learn the goddess-like structure of self, where there really is no above or no below. It is an aspect of frequency. And so you had to learn those aspects. When you are fragmented, okay, it means pieces of you that have been pulled apart. And when you are made whole again, you are removing the emotional attachment to absolutely anything, just an understanding and in the vibration of nothingness, which is everythingness, which is openness and Christ consciousness. Anybody else's ears burning? So therefore, you had to learn that it was really you that had to take accountability to learn to discern the words and the verbiage that were coming through, that you spoketh unto you, that were spoketh to you. And that is a part of what was done to you had to be undone for you to redo. Take this for what it's worth, okay? For what it is. And I always tell my people to go back and take it to their team and sit with it and divine with it to see what it means to them. Because that's... Okay, what was just spoken to me was... It was the writer of the divine prophecy, which you were a part of internally, externally, and you had pieces of that prophecy that relates to your destiny that you came here to be, experience, and do to make the movement move times two. Is that why you had me write that down earlier? Y'all remember when I said I was late? Y'all remember when I said I was late? Okay. Okay, so hear me out. I was late because I wrote something down and I was sitting with it because I needed to understand where it came from. I always feel through everything energetically to know that where it is coming from. You always feel it immediately. It's not that I doubt me by any means whatsoever. When you got spiritual PTSD, man, I'm telling you that you check yourself not once, not twice, but 3 times. That's why I've always said I will always only speak things if I see it, hear it, and feel it. Because when I see it, hear it, and feel it, not necessarily even in that order, then I know that it is truth to be, because that is something that I have devoured through within me over the last 23 years of my spiritual existence in these places and spaces. So now they're giving me and acquaintances. Yeah, and acquaintances, right? Okay. So now they're giving me the energy to be able to read this to you because it's going to rectify with you so deeply and so internally. I guess it's part of the divine word that we're going to speak today here. Okay. All right. This is exactly how it came out. So I just want you don't have to take it upon you, but just sit with it. Okay, you don't have to sit in it, sit with it and observe it from a different perspective, okay, if you can. All right. My life was not equal. That's because I was the leader of my own sequel. I was always different than other people. The devil even wanted to be my equal. My life was not equal. That's because I was the leader of my own sequel. I was always different than other people. The devil even wanted to be my equal. That's the same thing of the same message of that's been coming up distinctively in a lot of different ways was it's better to know the devil in your face than the one behind your back. So you had to know you, which was the own devil inside of you. You had to learn the matrix of your own mind in due time to realize that it was you that was always the authentic prize. Whoo. The devil even wanted to be my equal. That reminds me of the energy back in my Wiccan days and in my Wiccan practice days when I was like, you know, young and all that good fun stuff. About 17 to about 22. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the doppelganger energy. If anybody in that era, in that practice, in that understanding, you remember when we would sit there and we would always get told stories of the doppelganger and meeting your doppelganger in that energy, right? Okay, that's exactly what this message reminds me of energetically, because they immediately showed me and took me back to that storyline when I was a kid and was in that energy and was learning about that at the age of 17, was about the doppelganger energy and how it showed up in the mirrors, man. I'll just say the mirrors. All right. This is why we don't do mirrors anymore in the house, bro. All right. My life was not equal. That's because I was the leader of my own sequel. I was always different than other people. The devil even wanted to be my equal. That was the devil in your face than the one behind your back. Better to know the devil in your face than the one behind your back, which means the devil in you. The energies that you took on as your reality, as you perceived, which became the devil energy that you had to rise up from. But this is also generationally is what they're saying to me. So it wasn't just about you and those imprints that you presumed and assumed. You have to understand, when you give a plant food, it naturally brings what? Life, right? And when you have all these imprints, just like a plant, we are energetically just like that plant. When you give yourself the breath of life, but someone gives it with the kiss of death, what happens to that plant? It withers away. So you had to realize that not only were you your own devil or own doppelganger, because it's the one that was in front of your face every day. And remember when we always sit here and say, you had to listen, you had to really, really, really listen, and you were your own worst enemy? The only one that's ever gotten in the way has been you. But subjectively, through the imprints that were personified you, the kiss of death, the words spoken, the curses, the kiss of the breath, right? The breath of life, life force energy. You breathe life or you can kiss death. Which became the internalization of death because of your unspoken breath. Ooh. So the things that you internalized and you hid inside became the unspoken breaths, which became the deaths in you. But those are your most valuable virtues. The shoes that you wore, the imprints that you wore. Your vices over virtues. Who knew we were going to church today? Blessings to each and every one of you through this holiday season. Ooh, that's why your life was made up of treason, the backstabbing, the betrayal, because you forgot that some of you are praying to God to remove a demon that he placed upon you so that you would grow in that season and become the doer of your own treason, to realize how to undo the energy in which was entrapped inside of you. We always say, man, the war on your mind, the prize is the soul. Ooh, they just said through the eyes of the beholder. Okay, wait. Through the eyes of the beholder, you were beheld. Through the eyes of the beholder, you were beheld until you fell. So the ones that carried you, that you entrusted in life, dropped you. Like your heroes, the ones you looked up to, because you're going to look up to the ones that were to carry you, to nourish you with that breath of life, they dropped you. But see, this is where the lessons are the blessings, because of the fact of what you've gone through has only led you to be up into this point, to the next step of what you all are about to do. Well, if you hate to interject, why are you interjecting? Course correcting, okay? Thank you. Okay. There was a message that they're taking me back to, so they're course correcting me, so forgive me here. We're going back to part of the divine prophecy of what was always to be in this reality, internally and externally. You have to realize sometimes I don't even understand to the depths of the levels of the things that I'm saying. So sometimes I have to breathe it in after I say it and hear it and feel it and go, hold on, wait a minute. Whoa. What did we just say? And they're like, yo, Caroline, go paint something in the back there. All right, go paint something back there. Just shut up and let us have the air. I'm like, all right, man. I will move out of the way, respectively. Course correcting. All right, so here we go. We're going to start this way because this is how we always start. So there was a message that came out about 3 weeks ago, and it was about a course correction then too. And it was about how spirit was the table and the cards were you and the choices. Okay, and some of you made choices that were not good for you, or the internalization of what you were trying to do. There were pieces and parts of you that you couldn't remember or wake up through. Okay, now when they say course correction, through those cards that they're showing me, the spread, they're showing me the cross, which is the Christ consciousness. And so the heart center is the toll booth between the body and the head, right? And it's the epicenter of alignment. It's the epicenter of synchronicity. It's the epicenter of frequency when you learn the internalization of the divine prophecy. And they lit up the chakra system here within thee, okay? And they're taking me back to that spread, and what they're showing me, of course, is that the table was them, and you sidestepped, you went diagonal and went backwards, and this was part of Spirit's course correction. You took it as some type of apprehension. Maybe it's because you were apprehensive to do something or try something then, and what they did is they took you back then. They took you back to show you something, to give you some type of tangible evidence in the direction that you were headed, or the direction you were going. So because of the apprehension that you had with that spread, whatever that was, it was like 3 weeks ago. So something 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, okay? And you had apprehension for it. They course corrected you in circumstances and evidence. So there was evidence that led up to that. Maybe deja vus, maybe physical evidence, because you're somebody that needs the tangible evidence to give reference to the timelines of the messages you receive versus the things coming in for you. So you like the physical reference here. Okay. And so parts of this through this backwards, okay, this side step to the backwards and table just being the table as spirit and the cards being you and the choices. You can't see spirit in the background working for you is what they're saying. And so they took you backwards, they took you forwards. It was like a sidestep though. And you felt this energetic process. What they're showing me through this process is that you were able to see then where you needed to course correct yourself and begin again. And there were emotions that you had to remove to certain external attachments too that were still coming through. And that had to be gone through. So through this cycle, that's been removed now too. Because what happened through that process is more of you rewoke to more of the natural talent, gifts, and abilities that were granted to you to receive to move into this next layer of the next prophecy. So you are moment by moment, breath by breath, working with the energy to bring about the next steps of alignment, not only interdependently, but universally, on a universal conscious. There's more that are unified in Christ conscious, thank you, than the unconscious. Because there's two parts to that too. There's the universal consciousness, but there are parts of the universal consciousness that are awoken in consciousness, Christ consciousness, and then there's other half that is not, but there's more now elevated. So more of you have had deepening spiritual experiences is what they're showing me as this is coming through. They're also showing me that this is now natural and innate abilities. These are your natural innate abilities. Now it's your job to do something with it. This is the return unto the universe and unto the world around you. Thanks. Dude, that was a little rough. So, remember when they always say, in God we trust, and I know that word brings disdain to a lot of you guys, but just hear me out, okay? They just changed the light brighter. The energy, the inner God in you, okay? So, they just said, in God we trust, right? What has been the biggest upheavaling is you learning to trust you again, the belief, the holy sanctuary, right? And that was the other message that we got. Was that a few days ago? Yeah. This is the next season. It's all about freedom, and the path you choose finally chooses you. Puzzle pieces fitting together. Nothing left will be unused, mistreated, or abused. Welcome to the holy sanctuary, the new you. That's what they took me back to in relation. They said no more stagnation. So whatever you had apprehension about, you don't have any doubt. The trust in you, the energy. Okay, that's why they say in God we trust. Because it's a must. And that is a must because it is you. But the eternal internalization of not being able to tap in to be able to observe the frequencies around you, for you to be able to read energy. It's part of you not trusting you because of the occurrences and the things that happened to you and the imprints that you wore upon you. So of course you would only have to remove those things to see the light of day again and see how energy truly plays. And nothing obviously ever stays the same because it's only ever changing. So a lot of your expansiveness right now that you've had have been Very much so. Concrete physical evidence about the next steps. Does that make sense? Now there's multiple different ways. Of course. Of course the connection's unstable. Of course it is. That's part of the fable, right? Alright. They said time stable, so that means we're switching timelines too. Okay. Yeah, the audacity. You did not like that, Miss Ma'am. Miss Ma'am did not like that. She did not like that. She said, the audacity. I'm like, okay, Miss Ma'am, tell us how you really feel about that. Aren't you the ones that always tell us to go with the flow? Energy switch. All right. They just said to me, oh, the places you will go. Okay, reading between the lines, because this is why we've worked so hard on trust, and trust is a must, especially in this next season, okay? The voice of reason. So you've had to become the voice of reason for other people and those around you, but you could only become the voice of reason or that helping hand by helping you, right? My life was not equal. That's because I was the leader of my own sequel. I was always different than other people. The devil even wanted to be my equal. But of course, that's the magician, the mastering of you. And there could be no separation, but because you were fragmented and separated because of people dropping you, you dropping you, the circumstances placed upon you, but also the circumstances that you placed upon you, because the devil being your equal is just you looking back at you. The heart and the mind, once you start to unwind them, you can break them down to separate them for them to become one again, which is the connection of the Two of Cups. Do you understand that? That's where the two become one, the one become the sum that we've always said here. They're repeating that again, meaning what I'm saying is that they're repeating again is that your life was never misled. It was only misread, meaning you were the one that misread your own life. Woo, too. That was deep. So this high pitch just came in, and literally after that, I heard, where you go, there'll be no words. Meaning the words aren't gonna necessarily mean a thing to you because you're going to be reading between the vibrational frequency. There's no emotional attachment to the words. That's how they partly kept you stuck and your voice was left unheard. There is only transparency and authenticity. That's part of the truth seekers that seek. And once you start to take a peek, you become weak. Can you define that? Because I kind of take offense to that. Okay. I just had to mess with them. They know I'm messing. They're like, really? Really? Okay. Okay, so it's because of the energy. It's because, okay, thank you. It's the internalization that you go through. You become weak to become strong again. To hear your own song, to hear your soul, to hear your own vibration, right? When you think or feel like you're stuck, right? You're not stuck. It's for you to see what needs to change in your reality to move forward with what it is you need to do. So it's an introspection. So you know when you get irritated and pissed off and you act with apprehension and you can't make a decision. And we always say sometimes if you can't make a decision, the best decision and then none at all. This is because they're wanting you to see something in observation for you to get the direction. But sometimes the only way to get you to that place is for you to internalize and go, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's going on, why it's not working, da 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 da. Because then you get irritated and then you get pissed off, which allows for the energetic clearing. This is actually a beautiful trait to have once you understand how to alchemize the energy here. So you had to learn the vibration of nothingness, okay? But some of you, they had to put you in distress only for you to learn your own energetic imprint, to learn how to wield it. Because when you wield the sacred fire element, okay, combining with earth element, okay, which is meaning the physical and the material, you get more force of action with the physical and the material. You get the product. You get more materialization. Okay? I'm going to talk to somebody for a minute. I don't know who it is, but I'm just going to talk to somebody for a minute. We're just going to talk. I'm sorry, 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 I'm sorry. I don't know who keeps saying this over and over and over and over again in your life, but you are speaking death upon your life. Do you understand that? Because every single time that you say, I'm sorry, basically you're telling your mind that you're sorry. That's the interpretation that you've done something wrong. So you can only do something wrong if you know better. So when you know better, you do better. But until you know better, you can't course the correction of the behavior. So when you course correct in the behavior, the I'm sorry needs to go because you're not repeating the behavior anymore or the cycle. It's the liberation of the freedom. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, man. Take a breath. The anointing upon your head is heavy. But the I'm sorry is keeping you stuck because that is the energy of the devil that is trying to take precedence over your life and keep you stuck. So the I'm sorry imprint needs to be relieved. It has to be relieved because of the way that it is perceived in the mind of the subconsciousness. You are telling yourself you're doing something wrong when in fact you're not doing something wrong. You didn't know any better. Once you know better, you do better. But quit apologizing for doing something wrong and seeing it as a bad thing, because it's not wrong at all. It's just the experience of the thing that's showing you that failure doesn't even exist. Failure doesn't even exist unless you do nothing with it. But if you don't do it correctly the first time, and you learn how to do it better the next time, there's no failure that you can perceive. But although energetically and emotionally you're telling your mind and your subconscious that you've done something wrong, which is just sabotaging you in the first place. So the "I sorry" doesn't even need to exist, because the way that you've personified it is you're apologizing for doing something wrong, but you didn't do anything wrong because the intention was pure. You made a mistake. It was an accident. It was subject to the scenario of what happened. You didn't intentionally take a baseball bat to somebody's car. Okay, maybe some of you crazy asses have in the past, but I'm just saying, in circumstances here right now that we're talking about, all right? We've leveled up from that, all right? For whoever that needs to hear that, all right? I don't know who I'm talking to today, but I'm talking to somebody. All right, so here's the deal. When you know better, you do better, but then therefore you need to remove the imprint, because it's only the present tense of the evidence, you thinking that you failed when in fact you only learned how to do it better. The "I sorry" is just an internalization of an imprint to make you feel less than, that doesn't even exist in the first place. But it's the way we've internalized the words. Remember, frequency, turn to words, left your voice unheard. That's a self-sabotaging imprint. That's the way that the energy plays upon the mind. That's the devil energy. That's a part of you, inside of you, that you internalize, that you've got to get through. The only way that you need to be sorry is for doing something wrong intentionally in the first place. Going against divine order, divine truth, the divine truth inside of you. If it is good, it's of God. You know how we say God is good? Actually, God is fucking amazing. But if it feels good, it's of God. It's of the divine. It's of source. It's inside. So if it doesn't feel good, or if it doesn't feel good because the mind and the heart are intertwined right now because of the lower level subconscious vibration that you're in, because you're sorry. Sorry doesn't exist. Remove the imprint. It's not what you are or who you are. You're learning to do things better, to become the magician, become the master of your own energy and your own evolution without apprehension. What a beautiful world we live in. Course correction for you have to understand that the sorry imprint only exists because you heard it over and over and over and over and over again in your family life. But let me get even deeper with you now. I'm going to get even deeper. Okay, we're going to go deeper here. The sorry imprint also exists because how many times people told you that they were sorry only to drop you over and over and over and over and over again. That's your accountability that you have to sit with and take within. Whoo, that's the bottom line. So the sorry imprint is not only from living in a place where sorry was used energetically upon the subconscious mind to keep you from liberating you, but also it's also a part of the trauma inside that exists because that's where you hide, because so many people dropped you when they told you, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, and kept doing the same thing over and over again. So then you kept doing the same thing over and over again. Do you see the energetic imprint? You had to remove the formulation of the codes based upon the North Node. Now, North Node being your astrology, your destiny here. It's always been a part of thee. So many of you, they're going, aha. Like all my team over here is like, aha, aha. They're like, revelation, Stella, you need to take a breath. Because like, you need to take a breath. They're like, give the people a minute to breathe. I'm like, okay. Because all of you guys are just like popping off and just receiving and just integrating and up leveling, and things are just going boom, 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 boom. We're just dropping light codes. They're like, yo, give the collect. This is why I can only show up energetically like every 2-3 days tops, because we just drop these things and we got to give the collective time to sit with it, breathe through it, understand it, and experience it before we can come through with more light codes to elevate your awareness about you on deeper levels. So the I'm sorry imprint came from 2 places and 2 spaces. Okay? Whoo. Are you guys, are you good? No? Okay. The word. Yeah, which one? We've used many today. I don't know who needed to hear that. Obviously, I'm just talking to you. I know I was talking to somebody, if not a few of you. The I'm sorry imprint has become a piece of you and has limited your circumstances upon you because you perceive that you're stuck. That was huge. All right, we're going to switch up energy here. Okay. They're asking me because of some of you, just with your level of where you're at in energy and what you really deeply too connect with. Okay. It's not that stuff didn't, but we try to hit all levels here of energy in all different ways and forms here to work things through respectively. So I've got a healing that I will do here for someone in a moment, but they want me to finish off this way. All right. Beautiful. Allowing the movement to move is what was just said to me. So you're just moving with the energy. Now, does this mean that there's not going to be obstacles? No, this just means that you're going to think twice and you're going to handle things more mighty differently. They said more differently, and then the other one said mighty differently. Okay. They said more differently and then mighty differently, but you are going to really be taken care of in difficult times. They want you to understand that you had to receive in your mind the way that you had to receive in your mind, the way that you perceived energy and the financial schematics to be in this reality. And now you have learned that all that you need, you have always been taken care of in one form or fashion. Okay? They gave me this staff and they said you will be taken care of in difficult times. Now, there might, of course, be discord among friends or family because you're entering upon energies that you know, some of you have to retract back to. So be mindful of your energy during this time, okay? All right, remember that you are the bridge, all right? And it's up to you of how you handle things this time. There's an announcement that's coming through, all right? There is there is good advice and a wise person that is going to show up in your life. So maybe you guys are asking for, this is going to lead you to the next level. Like you want to learn something more. You want to know how to do something. You want to know, it's almost somebody showing up to you to take you to that next level is what they're showing me. All right. You've learned the reality of your own passion here. You've learned the reality of your own passion. There's training. So there's a leveling up of training that you're going to go through. The Six of Swords. You've moved through mentality in the Page of Swords here. So this is all about the next level. I would really like to see some more of that grounded in energy here, with more of the doing, more of the physical rather than the emotion leading, right? Because we've worked through the mind, right? And now you're just going with the open notion of what's in front of you and dealing with that one at a time. So it's being very in alignment with what's in your face. But a lot of you had to be moved from your place because the energies could only see you in one demographic, one way, respectively, perspectively. All right, so that's why some things are changing for you. Remember that when you are in transition and it's uncomfortable, just be in gratitude and say thank you. Because being in gratitude is going to get you from point A to point B faster. Because when you're in the uncomfortability, when you're in the wilderness, when you're in the unseason of rest, it's because of the fact is that you're getting moved to the next level of events. Your soul, your body is uncomfortable because you don't have the understanding yet and the folded maps in hand yet that tell you which direction to go. So when you're waiting upon the answers, just know that there's no choices that you have to make at that time. Just absorb, go within inside introspectively, because there's something that connects you to what's going on evidentially around you. Okay, thank you, Mike. I appreciate you too. All right, we're gonna jump onto this healing and reading, and then we are gonna pop off. And I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful evening and a beautiful holiday wherever you spend it, however you spend it over the next week. Okay, blessings upon blessings to each and every one of you, and nothing but the next peace and ease and harmony, okay, to be received by each and every one of you. All right, so here we go. D, we're gonna switch up the energy and we're gonna tap in and do this for D here. All right, let me cleanse this space, D, and close that door here. Thank you. That door, yeah. Give me 1 second while I close this door. Savon, thank you. Intricacies. Okay. Intricacies. D right away. Intricacies was the word that was used. So there's intricacies that are being sown through right now. The messages in which you're receiving are on a deeper level here of energy for you. And I feel like you're feeling things on a deeper level. You're seeing things on a deeper level here. They said shoveling. So you're shoveling through something. You're looking for information here. I feel this all the way down deep in between my soul and my sacral right now here. So like they've traveled me all the way down energetically here. All the way in between the solar plexus vortice and the sacral vortice here. This is something that you're pulling up. Now, when I say that energetically here, it's not negative. This is something that's going to kick things into gear It's some type of coding. It's some type of remembering. It's some type of knowing, okay? That's going to get plugged in again. Your body's coming back on alignment. Something sidetracked you, but it was on consignment. And now you are energetically pulling this up and through. They're showing me the Phoenix and the Celestial Weaver card coming through. They're talking to me right now about you working really hard energetically inside your head to realize where some of these, they're calling, I know this is funny and this is totally like Hello Kitty, like little girlsy like, but I just gotta say what I hear. Where these hurtsies come from. So it's almost internally where you are realizing where certain projections actually come from. And that's part of the hurt that you're going through. And they said num, so you're eating part of your own crow in certain levels right now about where things come from. You're realizing things on a deeper internal level. They're saying birth by sacred fire right now. Birth by sacred fire. So really in the next, something you desire. So this is connected to something you desire. Now, this is deeper than I think you've even perceived things to be. Thank you. Let me course correct. You perceive them to be, but you don't want to see. Like you don't want to admit that these are things inside of you that are to the deepest layers, pieces, parts of you. Okay? That you want to have, that you want to hold, that you want to receive. This is what's pulling up inside of you intrinsically that's going to light up again with what it is that you're going to do in this next reality. The next sequel of events that come through are aligning you with you in this new reality that's coming through for you. The shift, there's been a shift that's been in and then out, and you're about to go back in without a doubt. Like whatever, okay, so you were all in something, you shifted in something, you shifted out of it. Right now you're out of it, but you're about to shift back into it, energetically speaking. That means you're going to be back in alignment here. There's something about the course correcting for you with this Capricorn full moon that we're about to get into. Okay? The understanding, because there's this fight that's going on inside, and maybe it hasn't happened yet, but I feel like it's even on a deeper level that you know exists, but you've been trying to figure out how to get to it. And this energy of whatever you're moving through right now is allowing you to get to it, for you to build upon that sacred fire energy and use it in a different way. They're showing me like a lot of light coming down. So they're showing me like a lot of shooting stars right now coming down. And I don't know if this is like vision you've had or you're in dream state when you've seen these things. But to me, this is right now, they're showing me that it's a lot of information and that it's a lot of dream coding that's going on right now for you in astral traveling as well. So there's a lot of puzzle. Now they're taking those and putting them in together as like puzzle pieces. And they said your nose knows. So sometimes you dig for information, but you just knows. Like your nose knows things, right? It's like you're sniffing things out, but you know, which means also in the energy of wolf, or in the energy of dog, or in the energy of something that is being sniffed out, okay? You're on the right path without a doubt. And so your nose is going to lead you first, right? It's the north node in direction. Something's always been a piece of you and a part of your reflection, but there's been rejection inside of you to move through. But the next level is going to show you, like whatever this is, you're truly supported. You're truly supported through this next space. But there's emotional resistance, right, upon your place. But it's not because you're trying to resist it. You're not trying to. You just don't know where it is and what it is yet to uncover it through. And this is the next day or two of why they've had you quiet, okay, is what they're saying. Because they're going to show you that this is going to change in the next 48 hours. They're showing me this being a blip, within your flower. Look at this, dude. You cannot make this up, D. That is literally the wheel of fortune. I love to call it the wheel of fire because you just never know which way it's going to go, right? Ascend or descending, but this is really good for you. The Eight of Pentacles. You've been working hard. You've been putting a lot of hard quality work into something, and you've been mastering something. This is the master builder. The Eight of Pentacles is becoming the master builder. So you've been working on master building yourself, and also this passion project is what I'm hearing here too. So this wheel is going to turn for you in the next day or two. Look how close you are to this doorway that's lit up for you, okay? One more. The Temperance, the balance, man. This is gorgeous, man. Look. This is beautiful. This is the Temperance. This is the balance of the divinity, right? And they're showing me white doves being a symbolization for you right now. So white doves are a symbolization, all right? And they're saying there won't be any stagnation, but right now you might feel like this energy that is static upon you, or it's heavy upon you. And this is because it's what you're trudging through. They're showing me that it looks like fog, but it feels like I'm walking through water, okay? Like, and it feels like there might be some waves. I feel resistance, like an undertow to these waves that are trying to push against me, okay, as I move along with this, because you're having to defend off a lot of energy right now while you try to stay in stabilization to figure this out, because there's a lot of people's energy around you because of the holidays. So you're really going to have to dig deep and get pretty quiet right now as you peek through this state, is what they're showing me energetically. There's nothing that you need to do. Remember, a lot of the things that naturally innate come up inside of us are just naturally supposed to. So just don't do anything. Just balance. Keep yourself very grounded, very mindful, very aware, and very imbalanced. That's the energy coming through with this Temperance, okay? I keep hearing silence, silence, silence. So I know that you're energetically, in a sense, silent right now, because there's more that you need to this puzzle piece that you're trying to perceive, is what was just said, all right? Thank you all for being here today. Thank you all for taking what messages you needed to hear today. Thank you for being a part of this space with me, and thank you for allowing me to be the vesicle for you. I will take this down or download this and put it up on YouTube later today. Thank you all for your love. I hope you all have a beautiful, wonderful holiday, however you spend those ways, all right? And there's a lot of magic in the air, so use it to your preference and your ability, all right? Till we meet again, guys. Mwah. Thank you.